Yeah, we've got a great heritage within the automotive industry. In the 1950s, BILSTEIN invented a monotube gas pressurized shock absorber. So basically what it was, a shock absorber before operated off of twin tube technology, which is still used today. Many applications use it for economics. It's very cost effective to make and put on from an OE perspective, but it is technology that was surpassed by the monotube technology. Two tubes working in a twin tube cylinder, but a monotube shock has one cylinder. And BILSTEIN invented this technology in the 1950s. And it does not only provide better ride control, better stability, better performance, it also provides longer life of the shock absorber. BILSTEIN shock is guaranteed for life, for as long as you own it. If it ever fails, as far as any type of manufacturer defect issue, we cover it for life. Shock absorbers will wear out over time, just like your brakes, tires, things like that. But good 80 to 100,000 miles of BILSTEIN shock should last you, as opposed to 25 to 30,000 miles on a twin tube shock. We do offer shocks for not only the RV market towables, your 1 ton, 3/4 ton, half-ton trucks that pull trailers, whether it's a travel trailer or a utility trailer, race car hauler, whatever, needs good damping control to perform and ride properly. Many of you probably have experienced going down the road and getting on a stretch of highway that you get a rhythm effect going from your trailer and it bounces the rear of the vehicle down. Well, that's under damping of your shock absorber that's occurring. BILSTEIN is damped much heavier and much more robust than your factory OE shock absorber that came on your vehicle. And I can explain a little bit why with the demonstration here in just a second. But yes, we do offer several different makes, models, applications that are ready to bolt on for your Dodges, your Fords, your Chevys, Toyotas, really the whole gamut of the light truck market. So what we have here are our Class C F350, F450 application shocks for a Class C motorized motorhome. And then here's our Ford F53 Class A shock absorber. These shocks are by far our most popular in both segments, in Class A and Class C. Several of your OE manufacturers get these chassis in from Ford and immediately pull off the shock absorbers that are being put on from the assembly line and installing our dampers for better ride control for the owners that take those coaches home. A lot of your rider fatigue from fighting the wheel all day long on a long road trip is eliminated with a good set of BILSTEIN shock absorbers.
The BILSTEIN 60mm product is standard equipment for Integra Motor Coach on their Cornerstone and Anthem models, built on the Spartan diesel pusher chassis. Notice the size difference between BILSTEIN 60mm product and our competitor 60mm product. Here is more detail showing the size difference in the working piston of both products.
Can show you is why a BILSTEIN operates the way it does and why it controls your applications as well as it does. So again, monotube versus twin tube. So when a twin tube shock is built, there's very low gas pressure in the twin tube design. Again, you have two tubes at work. You have your working cylinder, which is housed inside the cylinder that you see mounted on the vehicle. When you pull this cylinder out, you notice immediately that the BILSTEIN monotube piston is about 233% larger than the piston that's in a twin tube shock. Same outside diameter, but much larger piston. With the larger piston, we can control the ride much better than we can with the smaller surface area of the twin tube piston. There's also a base valve in the bottom of the working cylinder of the twin tube shock. So as the shock cycles, and you can hear the air, hopefully, coming out of this base valve, the idea is when this shock is mounted on the vehicle, the void area between the working cylinder and the outside cylinder houses a certain amount of oil. The oil then is picked up from the base valve. If it needs to extend in action, it pulls the oil in like a syringe. If it pushes in compression, it pushes the rod in compression, it pushes the oil out of the base valve. Over time, because of the low gas pressure in a twin tube shock, I can replicate the action here with this cutaway shock. Low gas pressure in oil with very high compression and rebound cycles creates what we call cavitation. Cavitation is bad for a shock absorber because once the oil is cavitated, it loses damping action. And when we compress the shock, we have no rebound control of the shock absorber. Very low gas pressure. The only control you have as the axle pulls the tire back down to the ground is the flow of the piston through the oil. So if it's a heavy axle, like on a 1-ton truck, that piston is being shoved back down to the ground as quick as it wants to from the action of the trailer. So when we build a BILSTEIN shock, it's a gas over hydraulic technology. We use nitrogen in our shocks. We have a nitrogen gas area separated by a dividing piston over the oil. Same action that I showed you a second ago, I'm getting no cavitation because the oil is pressurized. It's stabilized because of the gas pressure. More importantly, I have rebound control. Okay? So as the shock controls itself, not only is it controlled through the piston flow through the oil, it's also controlled by the gas pressure. This creates a much more stable towing effect on trailers, as well as very heavy Class A, Class B, Class C vehicles.